All right, all right, all right. Welcome back, my friends, to the podcast that never ends. I'm so glad to be back. It's just another wonderful opportunity, like every one of these are. So anyway, this is your podcast. I'm simply the host. If you're listening for the first time, I want to welcome you to the AOI Arena of Ideas podcast. I'm your host, Mike Kingston. I'm here for you. I'm just like you and everybody else out there. We kind of talked about that over the last couple of days. Look, everybody else out there has amazing ideas and wonderful ideas, and that's why this is here. And I just happen to have the microphone in front of me, but I have those same ideas. Again, this is a coined phrase, but we put our pants on the same way and everything else. Guess what? This is your show, your episode, your podcast, your everything. And I'm just simply a person putting this out there, putting it together and putting it out there for all of us to appreciate, enjoy, and listen to. Okay, so, the usual suspects is way in which you can listen to this whole thing. You got iHeart, Spotify, Google. You've got a place called, there's Deezer, there's Podvine, there's Pod Addict, there's all these, and Apple. Hey, Apple, and thanks to the fact that it came on Apple, because those wonderful people from over in Ireland, there might be other people more than that. It's just podstatus.com explained that to me, that Ireland was actually out there listening on the Apple podcast, which is amazing, wonderful, and everything else. You can answer back by simply my email, michaelkingston723@yahoo.com. You've also got my phone number, which is published inside the information of this wonderful podcast. And you've got all those, and then you could also go word of mouth, which a lot of people do when they see me. Now, again, if you're able to talk to me and see me, then that's word of mouth fine. But the other ways is for everybody else out there beyond the actual sound of my voice. Not just this microphone and the extension of me, which is the microphone. I want to give a big shout out to Sprecher, Speaker with an R. They're the ones that gave me the idea and the opportunity. And what you're hearing right now is basically because of them. So I always give them a shout out. And when you're on all those 12 possible places, please do follow, subscribe, click the button, click the plus, whatever it is for whatever you're listening to, please do. And then also you yourself, let everybody else know about this wonderful situation here. Or again, I think of you guys like family or friends, or we're kind of a clique, if you will, so to speak. And anyway, that's how I look at it. That's how I look at this whole thing, is just like that. All right. So again, to tell other people too, word of mouth or whatever else, you can also Google search this podcast too. And I've just done it. I just did it to show people, Google search it here. It pops up. You pop this up and you can listen, or go back to whatever you have in your arsenal of ways in which to listen. Thank you. All right. So this is the experiment at the crossroads between content and conversation, reinvented, of course. This is a podcast for everything, anything, everything, all things to everyone. It's the triad of talk, the forum of focus. Basically, it's like this. And I say these words over and over, sorry about that. But anyway, look, the talking heads and the radio personalities, TV and radio personalities that go on there, and they're all just giving you lip service. They're all just giving you words, saying what you want to, saying what they think you need to hear, or you want to hear, but really in their own lives, basically, they're talking, they give lip service, and I give real service in real time here on this podcast for everyone out there. Okay. That's what matters most to me. All right. I am the conduit of content, the voice of the people, for the people, and by the people. This is an all information podcast, wielding truth, humor, wit, sarcasm, freedom like a verbal weapon. If you're screaming at the TV, the radio, or the sky, or in your head over the BS that's out there, this is your place to be. I'm just trying to live my best life out. I'm trying to live my best life here. Let's light this candle. How do we light the candle? Well, we light the candle by simply stating, if you've got pet peeves, your OCD, you got rants, raves, beefs, issues, OTC, etc. If you are basically the how's, the whys, LOL, ROFL, WTF, are you kidding me? You're killing me, so on and so forth. Okay. Not to beat anyone over the head with this, but if you have all these things or beyond what I even list here, and it keeps you going and all these other things, keeps you up at night and it makes you wake up way early in the morning just to ponder something, guess what? This is your place to be. All right? Today, of course, I got past my 25th episode, and starting out this whole thing, my 25th episode was kind of a goal. I had to come up with the 10 to 20 things or whatever I might be doing as per this podcast. I also wanted to, a couple little things you can check off on a list, the marking the boxes, if you will, as you go down. And one of the things I've got marked down here for this podcast and everything else, Arena of Ideas podcast, is to get to 25 episodes. Now I'm going to go on to my next 25. And this being the 26th, this is going to be Bloodlines, Life from Within. The two people I want to thank for coming up with this idea, two great people near and dear to me, for good friends. One's name is Joe. The other one, his name is Jen. Jen, if you are listening and have been going through all the episodes, on the episode All Pets Matter, she's the one that also suggested that. She plays a major role, integral part in a lot of different ideas and things. She's done a couple of times what you all could do, which is come up with an idea. Give me that idea. I come up with I break out and I make an episode out of it, and you get full credit for what transpired, what I put together and what I put out there for all of you. All right. So again, thanks to Joe and Jen, two girls. They're phlebotomists over at a place where you can get plasma. This is, again, Bloodlines, Life from Within. This is about the premise of plasma, and we're going to go into a great detail about many things on dealing with this. But for right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and take a break right now. We're going to break this up a little bit. What you hear that is the wonderful bumper music. And so this is Bloodlines, episode 26, Bloodlines, Life from Within, and I'll be right back. All right. We're right back here, aren't we? You and I. It's really me and this microphone, but it's really everybody else out here in this situation. Look, if you're listening and everything else, I appreciate all of you, everybody out there, the people that gave me this chance in Sprecher, everybody else out there listening to basically the extension of me, which is this microphone and of course this podcast on this platform and all the platforms you can listen to it on. I was just going back and stating to you that thanks to Joe and thanks to Jen, that we are putting this podcast out there. Again, these are two wonderful ladies, great, amazing people, great ideas. And anyway, without them, I wouldn't have this episode today. So giving thanks again. Bloodlines, Life from Within, episode 26 on the Arena of Ideas podcast. Bloodlines, Life from Within, of course, plasma, the life force, building blocks everyone has and can perpetuate life. It's so crucial in the struggle for life, basically. Life-saving. Plasma is totally life-saving. Plasma is a way in which you can get a direct transfusion when it comes to someone needing, like someone's in a very critical way or whatever's going on. They need a complete direct transfusion. It's a straight transfusion. They've got multiple medicines and different things that they can sit there and utilize plasma for with everything that goes on. It's so important, so vital in the process of what we do in life and everything else. All right. So properties and practical applications. Forever there is an association and stigma about those who donate plasma, right? There's a complete stigma and problem with all that. Everybody, some people think, oh, you're this or that, or you're the lowest of the low or the worst in life or something else if you're doing that. But you know what? Not true. Not true. Because I myself also do some donation of plasma. I do that to help everybody else, and it's a wonderful opportunity to give back to everybody in this community and beyond. All right, so breaking stereotypes about it and into the real truth about donating plasma and the way to give back in life. Well, the largest misunderstanding is the fact that only society's worst donate plasma. Wrong. So off thinking this is such a honorable and dedicated practice as outlined in this episode. All right. So actually you must have a regimen and you must have a regimen, a diet. You sit there and have to make sure that all your vital signs are from your blood pressure down to your pulse, down to your temperature, down to so many different levels and things that you have to do. It's amazing. You have to have, a good diet, and basically what else they do is they give you physicals every year. 4 times a year, they do a situation in part, which is they do testings for different critical things that could happen to you. So basically they're doing physicals. They're testing you with serums and things to test for different illnesses and things that you might incur. And in that process, you're going to know if something's wrong. You already, of course, as a disclaimer, consult your doctor in any situation, your personal doctor, whatever you're doing with all that. But this is another situation where you go in there, they give you a physical every year. They're testing with a serum test, testing your blood and everything else to make sure that you are okay on every level, no hepatitis or anything else. There's a whole litany of things you could list out here. This is, again, is an awareness. I'm not a physician or anyone in the medical field. This is just an awareness to the fact that this is an important, integral part of what we do. Okay, so, and you have to go through all these other things. Like I said, they're running you through a battery and aptitude of different things. Each and every time you go in, they're testing all your vitals and things. And then you go ahead and do the process of the actual donation of plasma. There is also donation of blood. There's a way in which you could donate blood, but you can't do both. So if you're going to donate plasma, you got to stick with what you're doing. You can go approximately 2 times a week to donate. And you give back and help others flourish and remain a part of life, right? Bloodlines, life from within, is a project of passion of mine forevermore. All right, so that's basically gives you kind of a rundown. Again, people have stereotypes and things that are ahead of what they do, but it's an honorable badge of courage to actually go out and do this and donate plasma. It's a very important, integral part. If we didn't have the large numbers of people that did this, we would have, there would be some very bad crisis type situations that would happen if we didn't. All right, so originally, before they had plasma, they had all these other things, which I'll get into the history and some other things about the donation process, dealing with plasma. Originally, before all this, they had what were called barbers and barbarians. I guess this is a short term derived from that. These barbers or barbarians, their original job was bloodletting, and basically what they would do is they were priests and medical professionals in Egypt and Greece. The barber's pole with a red stripe was a symbol of bloodletting and used to promote blood flow. Thinking illness and evil spirits would be released into in the process. That was it. That was what they used to have bloodletting centers and everywhere, and you'd follow that poll. That idea right there was something Joe, when I talked about Jen and Joe coming up with the idea for this podcast episode, Joe talked about that, and I was talking about what I was going to be doing with this episode. She said, cool, you know what about this? And that's a very interesting thing. So this kind of ties in with the whole blood part, because it's, all of it's a part of blood. Plasma is a part of blood and everything else. So thanks again, Joe, for that idea. All right. So blood oaths, a blood oath, OATH, where two people exchange blood in bond and ties to seal the deal. Blood, mostly plasma, is the life force and way for humans to perpetuate life itself upon civilization before now and in the future generations. Some even cite contracts and even sealed documents with this as kind of a notary seal, like a seal for whatever you're doing. And again, those can be tied in with affiliations with other things. And as a kid, sometimes kids will do the blood oath where they cut themselves. Again, this is a long time ago. People that are younger now, out there now, you may not realize this, but when you became a true friend, like a blood friend, if you will, one person would cut their hand on their hand, the other person would cut their hand, and then you would shake hands and press that together. Well, now that might be looked upon society as, barbaric, if you will, or whatever else. But truly, that's what kind of transpired and took place, dealing with all this. You want to become a friend, you became a blood friend. Some would. Maybe you had that level of friendship and bond, if you will. Forever there's an association and stigma, of course, like I was just stating to you, okay, about the donation of plasma, but it's so vital and so important. Misinformation and misconceptions about the public perception does not allow the amazing advances and strides the medical fields have made with plasma collections for donor heroes and warriors. That's what I look at them like. So, and everybody has a story to tell when it comes to going in and donating plasma, because you've got the one person over here where they're looking just to help other people. And what happens with donations is that, yes, you get paid some compensation for your, for the time you're donating. It's a little bit of a help with, your time spent there. So that's what they're doing there. There is that involved, but the biggest part of it involved is that heroes and warriors that go in there and donate. It's like I said, it's a badge of courage. It's an honor and privilege. And not many, like I said, some people out there don't see it that way, but it's an important, integral part. And it's something that needs to be done and be taken care of for all of us. Because sooner or later, and I hate to say it, but sooner or later, everyone's going to have a situation, crisis in their lives where they may have to go through and have to deal with this. They might have to. All right. You never know. And so just know this, if you don't want to it's kind of like anything else. If you don't want to donate, then fine. You don't have to, but there's a plenty of people out there that take up that mantle and are out there willing to, be a part of the process, help their integral part of where they stand with this whole importance in life and everything else. All right. Oh, and let me give a shout out to a place I go. It's called Griffolds. They do the whole donation thing here in town. There's a couple other options that are out there. Just look up wherever you may live, wherever you are, and you're going to find something that's going to be there for you as a collection center. All right. I want to give it. I live in Pueblo, Colorado, of course, for all of you out there. If you're first listening, I live in the United States in a place called Pueblo, Colorado, and that's where I preside, and I work and everything else. Well, anyway, the other part of this here, kind of tying in this Bloodlines Life from Within episode 26, is a place I go called Griffolds. I didn't really ask them if I could talk their name or anything, but that's where I go, giving them a little shout out, props and plugs to all the people down there. There's some great people that preside there. Not throwing any names out, no favorites, right? Like kind of like your favorite kid. Well, okay, you have 4 kids. Who's your favorite? Well, you really can't say that, right? You can't give it out that way. But I want to give just a shout out, props and plugs to all the people down there at Griffields in Pueblo, Colorado. There's other places that you can go to, but that's where I go to donate. All right, so note, plasma is the liquid component of your blood that contributes 55% of your blood's total volume. Plasma is necessary to help your body recover from injury, distribute nutrients, remove waste, and prevent infection. While moving throughout your circulatory system, so vital a process. The applications have reached over 500 different uses in medical and clinical settings and research pharmaceutical products. More uses within the human body for plasma: immunity, blood clotting, maintaining blood pressure, and also the pH balance in the body. Plays a major role in transplanting blood cells, nutrients, proteins, and hormones throughout the body. Albumin, might butcher some of these words. Okay, guys, not a professional. I'm not a professional, of course, I'm not a professional in front of a microphone, on the radio, TV, or anything else. And so this is just me. Again, I put my pants on the same way you guys do, or whatever you guys happen to do. I'm that same common man. I'm a common person just like you. I just happen to have this microphone in front of me. All right. So, all right, let's get back to this. Let's see. All right, so let's try these words again. Albumin, coagulation factors, and immunoglobulins are plasma-derived medical products, not to mention the fact that treating hemophilia, immune deficiencies, disorders, and before Velveeta cheese, the real liquid gold. LOL, right? Consider the liquid gold and everything else. So vital, again, such a vital process in this whole situation here. And when I set out to do the Arena of Ideas podcast and the whole episodes I do, the thought was, covering things that people don't want to talk about. It's things in life that matter. If it matters to you, it matters to me, it matters to all of us, right? Out there listening. Well, the whole other part of this whole thing is the fact that, I want to, just if it's important to you, if it matters to you, if it's important, it's something else that you want to discuss, you have in your head, you've thought this through, you come to this idea, but you don't want to discuss it because, again, social media being canceled, you can't discuss certain things around certain people because you don't know where you stand or whatever's going on. This is your place to be. This is your venue. This is your opportunity. This is your podcast. I'm simply the host, right? So, again, this is a topic of discussion that not many people, maybe a lot of people do talk about this. Maybe they don't talk about it. It's all right. It's something in life that we all go through and we do and we endure. And I want it to be a part of the process here. I've already covered the homeless, welfare, opioid drug issues, mass shootings, different things. Why? Because it matters to you. It's important to you. It's what is vital to you. So it matters to me as well. All right. There are many advantages for your health as a donor. Rigorous processes. Your blood is tested for against disease, aptitudes, helping reduce cholesterol, filtering your blood in the machine process. They do. They filter your blood, getting all the fats and everything else that's in your blood. It does that process too. So basically it's cycling your blood, and I don't know what that would cost astronomically, but they do that in the process of filtering out your blood and making sure that whole process is being done correctly. Anyway, so, all right. As a donor, you can receive monetary compensation for your time. You have a better awareness about your diet, managing your eating habits, keeping your body hydrated, and Some physical activity helps donations as well, and the donor also, right? Like if you're getting out and doing cardio and things like that, these are all things that you'd be doing anyway, right? But it's helping out in that whole process of what we're discussing here. Making an impact. Over 500 medical applications and even direct infusions helping sustain life. To me, it makes anyone and any walk of life that can be a superhero as a donor. Oh, by the way, the heroes and warriors that work down in this whole process, all the first responders, people on the front line, all the medical people that are first responders and everything else, some of those people are also tied in with this too. Because you gotta have some medical skills when it comes to the whole process of a plasma center and or blood donation center. It's a process. All right. So another way in which this is also cool, check this out, is it boosts your mood and attitude by knowing you're helping others, making a difference, right? You uplift your mood and the endorphins released in your body for a positive vibe. This can help you by the process of them doing these different processes and things of filtering your blood and things, plus also the fact that you're knowing you're doing this. And a big shout out to anybody that, after hearing this episode wants to go out and donate plasma. Go to your local area, look up where you can have plasma blood. Now, real quick here, let's cut to the chase here. Blood donation is good, but you can only donate blood so many times a year. And it's good. No, it's commendable. You got to have so much blood on hand in order to help in any crisis or situation where a lot of blood loss is happening in an accident or so on and so forth. Yeah, you have to have blood, but the one thing that perpetuates life and does a greater job over time and can consistently be done is to donate plasma. That somebody put that out to me. I also knew that part too, but there's a lady named Selena. She works down at that center as well. She's awesome too. She was making that comment because I've been talking this up about, I'm going to be doing this episode and everything else. And so please, by all means, do check that out. The reasons are endless for donors and as to why they donate. Some might be because of a loved one who needed plasma in case of emergency. Or let's say that you were in an accident or something else happened to you in crisis. And at that point, you went through and because they gave you plasma through an infusion or whatever else and it saved your life, you're going to go back in. I've seen a few people like that too, where they went back in to donate and that helped them, so they helped somebody else. All right. Or you yourself, same situation. Some may need the compensation given. No matter the reason, next to blood drives and donations, plasma is so vital in the lives of many, as I have aforementioned here. With grace, compassion, being selfless, and a vision for what's important. So what's important in your world view and existence, helping humankind, each donation. Again, it's vital. It's important. It's something that, again, nobody has to go out there and tell everybody in an interview or something else that they do all this. People have their own private reasons. They might, again, like I'm using a microphone and talking about this. But look, it's pulse to pulse, heart to heart. It's all the things that we all go through. And, we walking in someone else's shoes, guess what? They might do a whole lot of things in their life, and this could be part of it. The donation of plasma, giving of yourself to help others, a selfless, wonderful act that I consider awesome. Okay, so let's go into some of the details here dealing with this. All right, there's phlebotomy. It's the process of making a puncture in a vein, usually in the arm. With with the ability for drawing blood, the procedure itself is known as a puncture for the purpose of intravenous therapy. Note, there's a difference between a nurse and a phlebotomist, right? Both are important medical professionals. Nurses are a higher level in a clinical setting. The history. The first use of blood plasma was in 1918. In the 1930s, Charles Drew invented a process and a way to preserve samples of plasma. Dr. Charles Drew was the first real person for today's ability to store blood and plasma products. Donations, charity, volunteering, time, and resources. America is a very charitable country. We are. From money donations to everything else. All right. All things for all causes are very admirable and honorable. So in making a decision in this way, consider donating plasma as an alternative option. Note, given the fact that blood donation you can only donate every 56 days as a part according to Medical Association, according to the AMA, American Medical Association, right? 6 times a year. Plasma can be 2 times a week for up to 8 to 10 times a month based upon the calendar. So again, it shows you it's in numbers. You can do more of it, not knocking people that donate blood. Give blood and give back to the community that way. There are blood drives and you can go out and do that. If you want that to be the part of what you do and you feel like that's in your heart of hearts and you want to put that out there, fine. Thanks to Jen and to Joe, the one who has the All Pets Matter, of course, podcast. Contributors made this episode possible. Wanting plasma donation situation to get out there, making a difference in the community of Pueblo, Colorado, and every community, every city, every state, and actually out there all over the world, anywhere and everywhere. It matters all over the place, everywhere. All right. So all over the world, life is so precious, and plasma is a way to help preserve mankind. Right? That's my take on it. Again, I'm reaching near 1,000 donations. I'm kind of coming up on that number, and that's says a lot. It means a lot. It's and again, I guess you're going to learn something about me today because I'm putting this out there. I really kind of keep it under the vest and kind of just keep my head down, make my donations. I consider it a cool opportunity to, again, talk to the great people that work down there at the center I go to, which is Griffel's here in Pueblo, Colorado. But, again, your centers and other places that you go to might be called something else. But it's an awesome opportunity for you to simply do what you have the ability to do in the process of helping others in life. And that's how I look at it. I mean, that's the bottom line here. That's what matters most. Okay, so, basically that kind of covers everything. Again, I didn't cover every single detail. I don't want to beat people over the head with this. It just gives you an idea kind of about the person that came up with this process. You got some other things going on. There's some other important nuances, and as medicine gets better and better and technology gets better and better, of course, there's going to be more things. I guess somebody was telling me, I think Selena was telling me that there's going to be some more actual processes and other things that they can actually do with the plasma. I don't have that information in front of me, but it's an amazing integral part of what happens in life and how we do things to give back to others. If it is holding a door, it could be, again, the blood donation. You could be common courtesy, a smile, hello to somebody. But anyway, this is a way in which all of us, I don't care what walk of life you are, what you're doing, and why you're doing it, but it matters that we all help in the perpetuation of mankind and try to help all of us do a little better, get a little better. And I always make this comment that try to be 1% better today than you were yesterday. And doing something like this, I think it takes it higher than 1%, but you know what? It's important. It's out there. Okay, so again, thanks to Jen and Joe, 2 ladies that are amazing, wonderful people. I like to put people's names out there, give credit where credit's due. This is your podcast. I'm simply the host, remember? I just stated that, and I state that all the time and keep it in the forefront of my mind because it's important. All right, so what's going to happen right now is the fact that I'm going to go through the process of taking a little break here, taking a moment. I like to break things up. It's kind of like a pizza. We can't eat a pizza all in one bite. I've made that mention. Well, just like everything else in life, we can't do that. But this gives us a chance to break it up. I'm going to come back with the other parts and segments of this episode. I'll be right back. All right. I'm back. I'd like to thank you again for listening and to keep listening and doing what you can do from your perspective on this episode, all episodes, the entire podcast, everything else. Every episode is to me like a chapter in a book. And this book still has so many pages to be written and so many things to be discussed. But again, I just want to thank everybody out there listening, giving the opportunity, letting them, like a bottle of wine, like I've stated before, you bring this bottle of wine home, you pop the cork, you let it breathe, and breathing and letting it, get out there, and you put all the information out there and everything else is letting it breathe. And then let it just kind of filter in your brain. Be listening, thinking, you know what, I like this. These are great ideas, but what can I do to add to this? Well, your email, you can go through the email, through the texting, you could talk to me in person, but it's a way to get, more information out there. If it matters to you, it matters to me, it matters to all of us, right? Okay, so now we're into the other parts of this here episode. I'm going to go in and read off a couple jokes. I always do. Hopefully the joke's not on me, but anyway, sometimes it is because I can't seem to get out to do the punchlines and everything. So, Comedy Corner. I'll tell you what often gets overlooked. I'll tell you what often gets overlooked. Garden fences. Why do birds fly south for the winter? Because it's too far to walk. I can always tell just by looking when someone is lying. I can associate. I can also tell when they are standing. All right, that concludes that part. Okay, so that was the Comedy Corner. You guys want more? My jokes are stupid. They're these corny dad joke type things. You don't like what I'm reading? Or some people tell me it's funny. It's obviously not my delivery. It's the jokes themselves, the power of the jokes. Just like I say, I have a face for an audio podcast. I also am not a comedian. I may try to be funny in an improvisational way when I talk to people, but definitely not my strong suit. Anyway, so that of course was the Comedy Corner. I'm going to dive right now into the next process, which is I've mentioned to a few people that people that work in this industry. You always think of Florence Nightingale, considered the greatest nurse of all time. She's in the Hall of Fame. She's a GOAT, if you will, when it comes to nursing. She's the GOAT. Like, so she basically, so everybody out there, young and old and otherwise, it's like this for the young people. You know, Tom Brady is, right? Well, she's the Tom Brady of nursing, because people, again, in football consider Tom Brady the GOAT all time. All right. So Florence Nightingale, considered the greatest nurse, born 1820 to 1910. The lady with the lamp, in quotes, that's kind of what she was considered as, because she'd go around with the lamp and she could check everybody. She was a British nurse, social reformer, statistician, best known as the founder of modern nursing. She saw action in the Battle of Crimean War. At the time, she was concerned about sanitation and different things when it came to the processes out there. She established St. Thomas's Hospital and the Nightingale Training School for Nurses in 1860. She brought a reform healthcare influencing in the 19th and 20th centuries. She reformed healthcare because of some of these different processes and the way in which she looked at everything. She was amazing. A pioneer and trailblazer in the field of medicine and patient care, so much so that a model was established to commemorate. There's a medal and an award commemorating her ability as a nurse, right? It's the Florence Nightingale Award. The distinguished career of her in 1907, the Red Cross inspired by her efforts and became a institution still standing today to help others in their times of need. And again, I'm starting to tie a lot of these, remember the legends and stuff in kind of what about the episode's about. Well, you can't really, and it's kind of like what I said before, in the history of anything, whatever you're dealing with, if you can't write history without this person in it, they are the Hall of Fame. They're great. They're amazing. You can't write the story about medicine, about medical care and patient care and all this other stuff without Florence Nightingale. Hell no, you can't. There's no possible way, right? So that's basically, that covers Remember the Legends, all right? And going with the theme of things that I'm talking about and discussing here, okay? So this is obvious, kind of an obvious tie-in. I chose this band right here for the mic check again. Big props and shout outs to Nick from Pueblo. He knows who he is. He's the one, of course, that came up with the idea for this, just like Joe and Jen were the kind of the creators, if you will, of this episode. You know, he is an integral part. He's awesome, a great person. We always discuss music all the time. And so this is where he came up with this idea. But anyway, back to it. Enough of on a tangent, right? Enough about that. Okay, so the mic check today is a band called Blood, Sweat, and Tears. The blood part, because again, this is about, bloodlines, life from within, the plasma, and everything else we do. So Blood, Sweat, and Tears is a jazz rock band founded in New York in 1967. Noted for a combination of brass with rock instrumentation, original music, and covers, James Taylor, Carole King, the band Rolling Stones, there's a band called The Band, Rolling Stones, Billie Holiday, etc. A crooner-esque vocalist with a great range and deep, rich, unforgettable style, mixed with the Renaissance and Baroque sounding arrangements, make this band and their career of great music. Songs like Spinning Wheel, You Make Me So Very Happy, I Can't Quit Her, and Go Down Gambling. Do yourself a favor and do the following. Kick back, relax, and take in the soulful sounds of this jazz rock fusion ensemble. A must listen for all ages and music tastes. Completely. You've heard the song Spinning Wheel, spinning around. Anyway, check out their music, Blood, Sweat, and Tears. Check the catalog, check the music, check the history. All right? So basically, delve into cool, upbeat, and great vocals framed with great musicians. Totally. All right? And mailbag, I've been looking through, I scoured through my email at michaelkingston723 at Yahoo. Didn't see too much of anything. So, and Mike's mess ups, again, you guys, I'll go back to a quick statement that a gentleman named John from Colorado Springs had mentioned to me one day. And he said, look, Mike, it takes about 10,000 hours to hone and perfect the craft of what you're doing when it comes to being in front of a microphone. If you're doing any radio, TV, anything in front of equipment that gets your message out there to people, it's possible that, things can happen. And yeah, I don't have a degree and, I don't have a degree when it comes to mass communications or anything else like that. I just have a degree in life and the School of Hard Knocks, going through life and being amongst everyone else, the common everyday person. And this just happens to be the fact that I have a microphone in front of me. So yeah, I'll make tongue-tied trip-ups. I'll make screw-ups and mess-ups just like everyone else. But it's in the process, and it's me trying to get better at what I do, honing my craft every single day. Not to put it out there for me all the time, but to let you guys know that, look, this is important. Just like this episode's important. Every episode's important. Every idea and thought and everything out there in this arena of ideas between me, you, and everybody else out there, it matters. If it matters to you, it matters to me. I don't want to keep reiterating these same words over and over again, but the positive idea behind everything and everything else going on is the fact that, being that 1% better every day, are we learning something? It's listening over hearing. So, and again, if you hear this and you are inspired and you want to send in, again, get at me, use the email, use the phone number. I don't have social media, and I've discussed this to a few people, and yeah, that could help the process of me getting out there more because I'm on social media. But due to some circumstances, situations, I have chosen to go social media silent, and that could be difficult, especially with me trying to put out this podcast. But know this, that if that's your deal, that's your bag, you're doing all that, you want to go on social media, go on your social media. If it's on Twitter, if it's on Facebook, whatever you're on, do me a favor, help me out. I would love to have the opportunity to have all of you out there. You guys, you guys have all the social media and everything else. Why don't you go through, and you guys can also post on your social media and YouTube and everything else you're doing, Twitch, whatever you're doing. Go out there and give me shout outs and props and everything else when it comes to that. All right? Maybe you can do that. So again, Arena of Ideas podcast, the Roman Coliseum lit up at night. You can go out and post that, you're listening to this cool podcast show, and I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just saying the option's there for you. If you like this, if you like what you're listening to and everything else, and being a part of this, you guys can also put that out there in your social media, giving me the opportunity in this situation to put myself out there via the 12 platforms I have, plus whatever you guys have out there. If you guys want to put me and post me in your Facebook, post me in your Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, whatever you're doing, that's awesome. And if you guys can show me that through my email and everything else, what you're doing to perpetuate this podcast and everything else we do here. Again, I'm your host, Mike Kingston. This is your podcast. You can do all that. That's awesome. And then just, you could send me emails and we could talk about this in the letter bag, the mail bag, about everything else that's going on. All right, so now I'm going to get into the plugs, props, and shout outs. Shout out to everybody out there. Shout out to the medical industry, the first responders, people on the front line, the medical heroes and warriors that are out there doing things every day, the first responders, the fire people there at the fire department part. You got the police and law enforcement, and you've got these medical wonderful heroes and warriors like I'm just telling you right here, right? So it's all important. It's all integral. And so I'm going to get the plugs, props, and shout outs. I'm going to be talking about the scouting, about scouting and about a scouting troop, Troop 19 here. It's for Cub Scouts and it's also for Troop 19. It's Den 19 and Troop 19 dealing with the scout group here in Pueblo, Colorado. There's other groups, and if scouting is a great industry for everybody. Growing up, it's a way to learn life lessons and do these things. Here in a moment, I'll be going into, again, this part on scouting when this is my plug. Props and shout outs. I just got shout outs to Jen and Joe that helped me create this episode. Appreciate that. And again, if you guys want to put me on your social media, there's nothing against the law that says you cannot put, you could post that I'm out there. You can post a new episode if you want to. Again, my episodes, when they go out, everybody can see that. But if you want to, you can also help me out by posting my podcast on your guys' social media too. Nothing against the law on that. If you want to do that, that's great. I think it's awesome. It's a way in which for me to perpetuate this and get this out there even more to everybody else and to more people. I went social media silent. I have my own reasons like we all do for everything. But if you want to put me out there, great. What I want to do is break this up a little bit more right now with a little bit more music for bumper music. I'll get right back here. This is the Arena of Ideas podcast, AOI podcast. This is episode 26, Bloodlines, Life from Within. I'll be right back. All right. We are back. Thanks for that music. I love the music. I love music anyway, as you well know. By now, if you've been listening, going through the process of me getting past 25 episodes now, a huge landmark and check the boxes for me. Okay, so basically this is a commercial read for scouting. Basically, really, it's all called, this is a big shout out and props and plugs to, basically a plug to Scout Troop 19. It's located here in Pueblo, Colorado. It's a scout troop and the den for the Cub Scouts too. It's Cub Scouts and the Boy Scouts. Locally here in Pueblo, Colorado, Scout Me In is a little quotation, if you will. Scout Me In is a part of kind of their moniker for Troop 19. Ways to find out how to join Cub or Boy Scouts. And also the pack and the Troop 19 is Jocelyn, Jocelyn. Her phone number is 719-415-0967. The leader among others. You can also text at 7BGE7A to 81010 for more information. Also add them on Facebook to stay in the know about events, meetings, and other important information that deals with Troop 19 and Den 19. Again, this is their whole thing. Again, Jocelyn, again, get that phone number. Once again, I'm going to repeat the phone number again. Area code, this is in Pueblo, Colorado. Area code 719-415-0967. Jocelyn is working hard, and they're out there, and in fact, break into this before I break this out anymore. I was out there, and they were out there selling popcorn and stuff to help perpetuate the process of the Scouts, which is awesome. It's a great life lesson for all the kids. That's how I met the troop, and that's how I'm putting a plug out for them for their plug for the scouting here. Cub Scouting is a division of the Boy Scouts of America. Starting in 1918 with a rich history, a number of experiments operational till 1930, when the first official Cub Scout packs were registered. Cub Scouts run from kindergarten to 5th grade, then graduate to the Boy Scouts. So support scouting locally, statewide, and nationally. A positive way to learn life lessons and build friendships through teamwork and leadership skills. So, support and join an American tradition second to none. Scouting. Gave you the number. Jocelyn's out there working hard for Troop 19 and Day 19, dealing with the Cub Scouts and the Boy Scouts here in Pueblo, Colorado. Support scouts and scouting everywhere you go. Everywhere from the city level, state level, national level, whatever way you can do. It's a tradition second to none. It's a lot of people, if you were to ask them, they may not tell you anything or advertise it, but a lot of people have done scouting. There's also Girl Scouts out there and stuff. I'm not knocking Girl Scouts, and scouting. Scouting in general is awesome. So please go check them out. All right. Thank you, Jocelyn. I'm probably butchering your name. I'm sorry about that, but that's what's happening. All right. So I've got a bunch of other future ideas and things. Again, you guys can help perpetuate this. Put me out on your social media. Take a screenshot of my podcast. Put it out there, my name and everything else. And I'm pushing this because I want to get it out there to the masses, to everybody. Arena of Ideas is a big venue. And if you listen to the Origins podcast, it's going to explain that to you. But the bottom line here is this, that I have a ton of ideas. I got, dozens and dozens more ideas written out. I just haven't put them out and dropped them. I'm trying to do a podcast episode once a week, so on and so forth. You know the deal with my email and everything else and how to get at me and everything else. Phone number. You got the email. Again, you guys out there in social media land, you guys can sit there and put a screenshot out and throw it out, a big props and plugs, props and shout outs to me. And I'm going to throw props and shout outs to you. If you go out there and put me out there and you get back to me telling me what you did, giving you first name only, guess what? You get credit for that. Wherever you're from, give me first name and where you're from and what you did and how you did it. Okay? Please do. This is how I know what's going on. I do have podstatus.com that will tell me on the 12 platforms I'm on, listed previously and everything else. It'll give me ideas of where people are listening. They give me impressions each week and ideas. Impressions are how they can track you, follows, subscriptions, everything. The bottom line is this, that I'm just trying to get this out there to everybody possible. I am hindered because I'm not on social media, but ultimately at the end of the day, again, coining a phrase, and I want this to be a part of everyone's life, if I can. It's what matters to you. It's the important things that Main Street media and everybody else out there on TV, radio, and otherwise, giving you lip service and everything else, talking about what bleeds that leads. Well, guess what? These are important issues, and these are important things to people, and they matter. So that's why I'm putting them out there here. I'm simply the guy with the microphone and this opportunity in this podcast. All right, so we've already gone through all that. And I want to stress again, if you're listening for the first time, welcome. If you've been listening, you keep listening, you're not saying anything, you're just listening, you're not commenting, you're just getting into this and you're appreciating what you're hearing as your content and everything else. I thank you for also being here as well. Thank you for everybody being here and being a part of the process of this podcast and all these episodes. Another throw out to Jen and Joe, who came out with the idea for this episode, Bloodlines, Life from Within, dealing with donation in blood and plasma. Thank you again. Until next time, this has been your host, Mike Kingston of the AOI podcast, your podcast. Have the best of the rest of your day. And until next time,